What's up, everybody? Hi. Oh, I am so excited. I am bringing a brand new kind of episode to you. And this one is recorded with myself, my friend Janet, and my friend Ilona. So we started this thing called Yoga Now, and it's essentially like a live podcast show. And you totally have the ability to join us if you'd like. We're recording every single Friday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you want to join us, that's great. The topic of discussion, I guess, or what we're doing is everything yoga. So if you have questions about Om, about Namaste, about different inversions, how do I actually do a downward dog? What is Shiva? Who is Shakti? So some of these things, these common questions that I think come up as you start practicing yoga, or even if you're brand new to yoga, this is the perfect opportunity for you to write in or join us live and ask your questions. So this has been really exciting. This is the second one that we've recorded, and it was really fun, really lighthearted. We talked about how to use blocks, how to use straps. We got a little bit deeper into all the different kinds of yoga. So if you're interested, feel free to join us live or write us in your questions, and I'll be more than happy to bring it to the call. I'm going to put all of the details down below in the description. So if you do want to join us live, all the information is there. But either way, this is a super fun episode, and every so often I will be releasing these as part of the podcast. So I hope you guys enjoy. And also, so this recording, this live podcast that we're doing is called Yoga Now. And if you want to join us for our free yoga classes, join the Yoga Here Facebook page. So if you notice, it's Yoga Here, Yoga Now. I know, pretty awesome. And they're all free and donation based. So you don't have to pay for yoga. If you want, you could just join, hop on the Zoom. It's the same Zoom number that's going to be below. And we're teaching about 12 classes a week right now. So there's almost 2 classes every single day. So if you want to join, we'd be more than happy to have you with us. I would love to have you in my class. How cool is that I'd be able to teach people yoga that are on the other side of the planet that I wouldn't ever normally get to see. So join us for Yoga Here. Join us for Yoga Now. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode.
Hi, happy Friday. Cool. Yeah, so we're back again, doing a bit of yoga talk. I was thinking about yogis yakking. Does that sound weird? Yogis yakking?
No.
Yeah, I think that sounds quite weird.
I don't know that word.
All right.
What about,
what?
I'm sorry, I just thought of an awesome idea.
No, you have to.
What about Yoga Now?
Yoga Now? That's quite cool.
Because you have Yoga Here and Yoga Now.
Yeah, no, actually I quite like that.
Oh, cool. And you don't have, it's okay, just, it came. So I had to let it out.
With that introduction, it totally needs to be like somewhere. Yoga Here and Now. I love it. I love it.
Cool.
All right, let's go ahead and ground for a minute. So we'll start off with our little, just couple breathing. You know what? Let's do Nadi Shudan, hey? Should we start off balancing masculine and feminine?
Yes.
Do we know? Okay. So I'll talk it through it just in case anybody's not sure what it is. I was taught left hand goes in the lap, right hand, middle finger, third eye. The thumb operates I had to look at my wrist to figure out which hand, the right nostril. Ring finger operates the left nostril. And so, does that make sense? Middle finger, third eye, thumb to right. Yeah. Ring finger to left. Cool. Okay. So, release both nostrils for now. And I'm going to talk through the first one because it's hard to talk and breathe at the same time. But thumb off, middle finger here, release both nostrils. So, we're going to take a deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale out the mouth. One more just like that. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale out your mouth. Place your ring finger on your left nostril and breathe in through your right nostril. Inhale. Use your thumb to close off your right so both nostrils are closed. Hold the breath for 1, 2, 3. Release your ring finger. Breathe out your left nostril. All the way out. Now you're going to breathe back in through your left nostril. Thumb is still on the right. Close both sides. Hold the breath. 3, 2, 1. Release your thumb. Only breathe out through the right nostril. So that's 1 round. Let's do 3 more. In through the right. Close, hold. 2, 3. Release ring finger out through the left. In through the left. Close and hold. 3, 2, 1. Out through the right. That's 2 rounds, 2 more. Inhale. Choose your own count. If one that's a little bit longer serves you, go for a little bit longer. Remember to hold at the top. Exhale through the left. Back in through the left. Close and hold. When you're ready, out through the right. Last one. And when you've completed, just place your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And just observe the flow of breath. Feel the cool, crisp air on the inhale in the nostrils. And notice the warm air on the exhale. Bring the hands to heart center. Gently bow your chin to your chest as we honor the breath, the balance that it brings, and the life. Namaste.
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 It's one of my favorite to teach.
It was fun. My left was a little clogged. I got worried for a second. I was like, come on, left side.
But it's so powerful. It really quickly grounds you, right?
Totally.
Yes, it's a nice balance. And I love that check-in, right? Left side, feminine, soft, right? The right side, that masculine, powerful energy. And it really does balance out the yin and the yang of the body. And it's an interesting, like, I don't know, note to self, I guess, if you will, on like, why is the left side feeling a little blocked? I don't know, but it really brings it all and balances off the Shiva and Shakti or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The great opposites.
This might be a dumb question.
I don't think there is any.
Who is Shiva? Who is Shakti? Which one's masculine? Which one's feminine?
Shiva
I think I
is feminine, to the best of my knowledge.
Shiva is masculine and Shakti is the feminine.
See, I guess I didn't know.
I'm just, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I actually couldn't even tell you a lot about Shiva.
So
it didn't go that far.
it's like a lot, and what I remember about studying that is Shiva is the masculine, and Shakti is the energy that moves everything, that gives it flow, life.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go deep because I can't. I don't know that much. But yes, definitely, it's if I remember right, there's between Shiva and Shakti. Right now, I don't remember the Sanskrit word, but there is something in between, something between them that connects, that makes all the Maya, all the reality. So it's beautiful, and it also, of course, when you read it, it's like makes sense in astronomy, astrology, and science, and absolutely amazing.
I wrote it down. Where I'm gonna do a little like digging.
Yes, we all will, definitely.
Yeah.
After that, next time we all will have something to say about Shiva and Shakti,
Because
Okay.
whatever it was, we just channeled it. Yeah.
that's the homework, yogis.
Yeah, I
Shiva.
can add something.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi,
Well,
Evie.
Hi, Evie.
girls. Well, I just want to share something that I know about this. That Shiva is like Shiva Lingam. It's the complete name. It's the masculine force of the universe, and Shakti is like the feminine aspect of God. Is the energy that contains the universe. It's the same energy, but the feminine is like most like container, and Shiva is the power that makes action.
Mm.
It's the same, but it's like the two faces of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
And Shakti is like Vishwa Shakti. It's that is all that I know.
It's definitely hard to, it's for me, it's just, you can feel it, you know it in your heart. And also, it's like with Sanskrit, it's so hard to explain it, to just give it a form, right? When it's inside, when it's all about science and energy. It's like, just explain me mathematics. Like, I don't know, you really have to think about it and be prepared. So that's beautiful. Let's do that as our little homework. Evie, Janet, Danny, let's next time have a little information, something good from each of us.
Sounds great.
I love that. So
Right.
exciting.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Danny, did you get any questions about anything on your? I know you got one.
I did. Let me just check. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know how to find it. I like do these things and I'm like, hey, this looks like a good idea, and then I actually don't know what to do with it. Oh, but Four Sigmatic, my mushroom coffee, they liked my thing that I tagged them today.
They're a great company. I love Four Sigmatic. Awesome. So one, I guess one thing that I wanted to, that's what I put on your thing, one question, is I guess like as a teacher, if someone were to come up to you, and say, like, I see people that grab yoga blocks and straps and things like that. Like, what should I use props? Should I not use props? Like, how would you tell somebody who's fairly new to class, like what they should grab or what a block for? Is a block because they can't touch their toes, or like why? What are yoga props and why are they important in a practice or not important? I guess would be a good question. Like, if someone were to ask you, what would you say?
So I always go, yes, grab 2 blocks, grab a strap. It takes you only, a few seconds to take it and put it next to your mat, and it works both ways. Whether you are a teacher or a student or whatever level you are on, it can be to help you if you need to modify. And we all have to. There are days when we simply, it's not every day is the same day. Same posture yesterday might be completely different today. And it depends how much you're hydrated, how much did you stress, how much did you meditate that week, that day, that moment. So it can work this way when it helps you, but it also, as modification, it helps you to go deeper. right? To stretch more, or add a block, to your seated forward fold, whatever it is, right? Standing on a block in, for example, dancer pose, it's automatically also leveling up and more of balance. So it's harder. So I'm always up for it. Don't worry about it. If you take 2 blocks and you take a strap and class doesn't require, that's fine. You just put it back, and yeah, it's perfect always.
Yeah,
Dan,
I agree.
what do you think?
I would say totally grab a block. It brings the floor closer to you. Like if you need, or if you need to, like, I had like a resistance about blocks. I was like, I got this, but I just ordered some blocks off Amazon because I'm now seeing the benefit of the block and the strap. And I'm excited for a strap because I want to get a better, dancer pose. And I'm now learning how to deepen my poses on my own. So it's actually more exciting to have props at home that you can kind of play with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think, you with a strap, you can go to your destination with alignment. You're not just pushing yourself crazy, going on with misalignment with your hips, etc. Because you cannot. You need that strap. You need
Reaching for the.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think that's super important as well, especially in alignment and safety, and especially at home, right? Because you don't have that teacher eye straight on you, which is part of why I do love art classes, but it still makes it challenging. We can't see everybody all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially at home, is to give yourself that little advantage to just be in that, like, I hate to use the word safe because nothing's ever actually safe or unsafe, right? But to be in that better space and more comfortable space, 100%. Ilona, do you have a strap?
I do.
You do. Danny, when you get your strap, I want to have 3 favored ways to use our strap call.
Hi.
Because I'm like strap love. I love yoga straps. I'll just leave it at that. That gets all really weird. We'll just leave it at yoga straps. Yeah, that would be super fun.
That would be very fun.
Ilona, what's your favorite way to use a block?
To use a block?
Yeah.
Well, I really love a block camel pose, chair pose. Let's start with chair. It actually adds a level to it, because you have to squeeze that block, and you're really engaging. So that would be the one. There's so many. Dancer pose, standing on a block, eagle pose on a block. Oh my goodness.
That's a good ankle roller for me. We'll leave that one alone. So what do you do? What do you do with the block and chair pose? Like, how do you stand on it, or what are you?
No, so in a chair pose, you put it in between your thighs. Mm-hmm. You squeeze it, so it actually gives you, because the block is it's just a perfect shape. So if you take your block, you put it vertically, let's call it, between your thighs, then you squeeze your thighs, and this distance gives you exact distance between your hips, right? So it's like, even when you stand, the proper posture actually is not bringing your feet together to touch. It's one fist apart between your feet. That is the perfect alignment. So that automatically puts you in that alignment. And when you're getting tired, you're not going out of alignment, because your knees are collapsing. You're still keeping that energy. So yeah, in a chair, that would be that. Definitely, you can also put it, you can stand on it. That will give you automatically balance. And if you want to do drinking bird, that's a lot more.
Yeah. And camel, you also put it between your thighs, eh? Same thing.
Same thing. And it's also not all in this. So in camel, it more of gives you support. So in chair, it gives you more, you need to put more power into it. And in camel, because camel is really hard posture, and it's quite dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, and especially if you're doing it without a teacher, in a room. So you have to be really, really careful, really mindful. And that block, definitely, I have lower back issues. I always had since I was a child. So that's something that I wouldn't never do my camel and go so deep as I am today, comparison years ago without the block. So definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. Danny, block.
Favorite ways?
Yeah, when and how? What do you do?
Splits. I like 2 on the sides. Because
Okay,
that's when I started to like, all right, I could do this block thing. Oh, hi, Bane. Yeah, because I actually was able to go lower and support myself. And I was like, okay, cool. So that way, and meditation. The first time I sat on a block and had my hips elevated and my knees crossed, I was like,
yes.
I am very comfortable.
I remember that. I remember that same sensation. We need to sit on a block. What's it going to be? Like, oh, look at that. Actually, my knees kind of fall a little bit.
Yes.
Like in my ears.
Yes, I was like, my back doesn't hurt. I could probably sit here for a good hour before I need to move.
Yeah.
So that was like.
So I have a question for you on that one. We're all going to see that I'm wearing like these really ridiculous short shorts right now. But I'm just going to take you off and I'm going to show you. Okay. So if you're sitting on a block.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see my butt?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
So some people, this is really hard, by the way. Some people like to sit really high, right?
Uh-huh.
I personally almost like the front edge. Well, I can't see which way I'm actually angling this. I think I'm making it worse. Does that make sense, though? Enough of my butt.
I have a meditation cushion.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see it.
Yeah.
I myself, I usually sit without. It's
Without?
just.
Yeah. Your hips are fine with it.
Pretty open, yes.
Mine are definitely not.
Not yet.
Definitely.
It's better.
Not yet. Yeah, not yet. That's why you're pushing your black every time you're going. You're opening more and more and more. With time, the black is getting lower and lower. But although, like Danny said, if you want to sit couple of hours, definitely even just roll a little blanket, your hoodie, whatever it is, it will help, and it's much better.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, I would sit and then it would be half an hour and then or 45 minutes, and then I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's better for my back to put it up.
Yeah, for sure. And hips are one of those things. I mean, this is 6 years in the making, right? And hips are one of those things that they're on their own agenda. They're in their own time. Hamstrings, I think, are a little bit more forgiving. Shoulders, I think, are a little more forgiving. Maybe even spine. But hips, I had a teacher one time that said, listen, your hips are not actually opening. They don't change. They don't stretch. They don't move. What you're kind of born with and what you grow into is what they are. I don't know that I fully agree with that. I would need a little bit more, because I know that my half pigeon is getting a little deeper in the last 5 years. Nowhere near what I want it to be, but it doesn't really matter, right? It's just a matter of being in that space. So that's fine. But
what's your favorite way to use a block?
I really like blocks in half pigeon. Like, that's a big thing for me because it is a direction in which I would like to go. So I feel like having the extra support, I can really relax into half pigeon. Plus half pigeon puts a little pressure on my knee. It's really only the right one. The left one is okay. So I usually have a block under my right hip. And that's for more of support so that I can relax into the pose, but also like it over the edges of my feet so I can deepen my forward fold. Actually, I was going to say, I just had a really good one in my head. Shoulder strength is one of my favorites. So I grab the block and then just by, like, that's way too close, but just by like squeezing it, and so that it's really tight in my hand, and just really activating the chest and shoulder muscles for like those minor.
And this one also leveling it up, because it's much harder to really, because you are in such an alignment, and yes.
Yeah, and just that lock in and placement of your shoulders. Yeah, that would be mine. What about people who don't have a block at home? Any suggestions?
I use my cards, my Moon Oracle cards. It's like a
Okay.
thick it's kind of like a book. It's like a thick deck, like a little box. That's
Yeah.
it's pretty thick, yeah.
Yeah, I would say anything stable. A big book, stack. I wouldn't. Some people say stack of books, but I think it's kind of dangerous if you're. It depends what you're doing. You put a stack of books somewhere and it just can collapse. I guess anything that it's kind of in a shape of block.
Yeah.
Or gives you that distance between your hand and your floor, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Evie, what do you think about blocks? Do you have a favorite way to use?
I never use them, to be honest, but I think this is new for me. So they are all the same side, or you have different kind of sides?
Oh, that's a really awesome question. No, every maker has a different size, right? So there's lots of different size blocks. And some studios will have different sizes. So if you are grabbing two, you want to be sure that they're the same, right? Especially if you're going to stand on them or use them at the same time, that you want to make sure that they're same. And then there's lots of different materials too. So Ilona, hold your block up.
So my block is, I have blocks that are very standard. Like in every, almost 90-something% of the studios and in stores, you'll have this one. You have a little different one. You have a little taller
so
how do you say it?
I know the studios I've taught at all have a few different sizes and styles. Mine they're fairly close. These are the only two that I have. But they're foamy, and I think the one you have is a lot thicker and sturdier. This one is probably something you would get at Walmart. Not that there's anything wrong with Walmart, but on the low end of cost, let's just say that.
I think there are also, it's like brings the floor to you when you can touch it.
Yeah, and there's we forget how many different sizes and levels there are. Right? There's 3. So, supported bridge. That's my bread and butter. Hips up on this guy. I'm out. Supported bridge. Anytime I can get my hands on it, I'm in. Yeah. But no, that's a really awesome question. So there are different sizes. That one is pretty standard, but what?
I just had a funny thought.
About?
It wasn't about you. It was about me falling asleep in class. Because when you were like, "Oh, I'm out," I pictured myself freaking fish pose, just conked out. Like, so sorry.
We know how Danny likes blocks in fish pose.
Don't put me in fish. At the end of the day, I'm done.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And
that was a good class.
It was a good yin class, obviously.
And but you may use the strap and the blocks together, and you try to do that kind of exercise, or just separate?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, it depends what you're doing, but usually it's separate because you're working, you don't want to go crazy because when you use a strap and you use a block, that automatically tells you that you're not vinyasa flow, right? You don't flow it, you're kind of doing ashtanga, you're keeping posture, you're building strength, you're building muscle, so you're doing for as long as you can, for as many breaths as you can. Of course you can. If we go into that game, you can do step on the block and do the dancer with the strap and stay there, right? But usually I would say, like, if I'm the teacher, I don't combine it. It's like level up, level 3, level 4, where there's only really.
Well, so there's a style of yoga, and it's one of my passions, but it's my understanding it's a 15-year course. I don't have that much time left in my life. I mean, I do, but it's one of my absolute favorites, called Havenga yoga. And it's not flowy, it's not dancey, it's not vinyasa flow at all. It absolutely straps and blocks. And I mean, we're talking 3 straps, right? And we're talking 8 blocks, and we're talking body alignment, but not in a yin sort of way where we're just kind of hanging out and relaxing. But it's a really powerful, it's all about tools, and it's all about body alignment and finding the pose in which you can be. And in fact, Danny had mentioned, we were chatting earlier about studies. And it's one of the most, like, my blood's boiling. I'm getting really excited about this because it's one of the most powerful styles of yoga for healing your physical body. Because you're set up in alignment, and it allows your body to really reform itself and really understand the body's designed, the way it's designed to move, which is a whole bunch of information. I just realized how excited I got about this and just went with it. But it's a different style, and you don't typically find it in studio classes because the people who teach Iyengar, like I said, it is a long process, right? So they're harder to find. It's not a 200-hour. I don't even know. I know we had some pretty amazing Iyengar teachers back in Cape Town, but I dedicated life, right, to the way the body moves and all of that. So if you find an Iyengar teacher in which you like, stick with it, man. They're the best. They've got all of this massive knowledge in their head. And it's a really cool story, the way Iyengar came around. And again, it's one of those like kind of step through, don't know all the details. Maybe, I don't know. But we had yoga was kind of came from one spot, and BKS Iyengar actually had a lot of like physical ailments. And so Abby Joyce went one way. Am I getting that right? Like, oh man, I failed teacher training, remember? But Abby Joyce went one way and created Ashtanga yoga, and BKS Iyengar couldn't do Ashtanga because he had a lot of, I can't even remember specifically what they were, but physical issues with his body. So he created a whole different style of yoga, and it went the other way. So anyways, that's what happened. I just got that out by the skin of my teeth. That's about all I know. I mean, I do know more, so it's coming off the top of my head. So yeah, like, it's super amazing. I follow a couple of Iyengar students and and teachers on Instagram just because the power and the way they teach is really cool. It's a different way.
I would also say, that this, when you're talking about something like that, this is a training, right? It's not just a practice when you come to studio 3-4 times a week, but when you do something like that, it's when you work with one teacher on a regular basis, it's a big thing, right? We're putting 4 straps on you and we are extending you, and it's really, really hardcore practice, training. So
yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. It's a really
definitely needs a lot of effort, power, tapas,
I don't know, like the closest I did, they were good, but I didn't really, I don't know, like, I feel like at the same time, you're so supported and you're so in it that, yeah, there is a lot of strength involved, but at the same time, there's a lot of softness, I guess. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of it, right? It's very systematic, so I don't know. Maybe it's different.
Girl.
Maybe where was I? Cape Town. I'm like, where am I in the world? I don't know. It was a different story, but yeah, I don't know. I love it. It's quite fun.
You know what I want to learn? That animal yoga.
The animal yoga.
Yeah.
I have got the so you're talking about Budokan yoga, which is really fun. Yeah, I've got the primary series. I think I sent you a couple pictures, but I probably analyze it. I feel like it's the yogas. It's the Chinese version of the Indian yoga, because it's a lot of like energy flow and energy movement, but it's like this warrior's like state of being, and I don't know, it's a really cool story. It's a lot of fun. It's very primal. So yeah, that would be a fun one to play with if we ever want to get around and just like go through it. I've got it all primary series. Just have to read it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I love it.
Yes.
So instead of Om, they say Us. Right? So
Us.
it's the same concept. It's that coming together, that noise, like preparing your body for movement, or in this case, it's I don't know, it's really cool. I don't want to get too far into it today, but
is the Us fast or slow?
It's
is it
hard.
Like,
it's a hard Us.
Okay.
Us.
Okay. Cool.
I'm probably doing it wrong because I've only done it a few times, but yeah, it's a very like powerful breath push.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many variations of this practice. It's unreal. They have forest yoga, which is really crazy. Synergy yoga, which is amazing. Have these. What's that?
What's forest yoga?
So I thought you might like forest yoga, but it's actually, so her name is Anna Forrest, and this is how, it's her creation and spin-off. Spin-off is not the right word, but it's her style. It's gotten pretty big. So she's based out of New York. Budokan is in Miami, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm fully into going to play with Budokan.
I got peeps in Miami.
Yeah, let's do it. Anna Forrest is in New York. I think she's based out of New York, or was at one point. They all travel the world. And then we have, I've lost it. Anyway, so her style is very core centered. Also not very flowy. It can be like her sun A's are slightly different. They're a little bit more along the side of a very traditional Indian sun A, where you kind of move into like Anjalayasana and then down, but it's slightly different. Very core oriented as far as like really strengthening. And she has forced toes, which is like the dorsiflexed, right? Point your toes, point your foot, fan your toes.
My hands have to do it too.
Pointer. Okay, let's see. You guys, we're getting all over this thing today. So point your feet, fan your toes, right? Point your feet, fan your toes. So the idea, yes. If you straighten your leg and you point your foot, right? You're using you're using half of your leg muscles, but if you point your foot and then fan your toes, your entire leg is fully engaged now. Like there's nothing left. Do you feel the difference?
Yes.
So the whole practice, think of doing Warrior One with your toes peeling up off the mat. Think of doing every pose that you possibly do, but it's active feet. So it's really cool. And if you think about it, your toes actually strengthen your abs. If you play with your toes a lot, your core gets stronger, which is kind of cool. I'm lazy, man. I want a six-pack by playing with my toes. Lazy.
Oh, that's cool. There's all different kinds of yoga.
There is. Baron Baptiste is in California. That's a whole nother. The flows that we kind of know, very Western flows, are very Baptiste flows. Vertical twist, coming back. Those are very, very Baron Baptiste style of yoga. So yeah, there's yoga everywhere. Like so many different styles.
I have another question. Speaking of yoga things, different styles. Bikram, what is it? Why are people mad at him? What happened?
So, Bikram, I will say what I know.
Okay.
Bikram is the hot yoga, the really, really hot studio. and there is no flow. There's, you know, a lot of breathing, a lot of slow movement, keeping the postures. And again, just like Janet was saying, you know, there's a lot of yogis, teachers there that, you know, it's like a style. So for example, when I have my classes, I have a certain style, certain tempo, certain music, right, certain energy. And every of those teachers, they come up with simply, they still, as long as they're good teachers, as long as they know how to sequence, how to build, which posture should be first, which posture should follow, etc. It's not just a monkey business. Then they do their thing, and they add heat, whatever it is for your healing, as long as it's smart. And unfortunately, the guy, not every yogi, some yogis, they lose their way, right? Some, we are strong, and they have tapas, and some, they simply, you know, I don't know what happened, doesn't matter, you know, he's just a guy. That he did a great thing. He gave us some something, you know, that I did Bikram, and I really like it. I really like it, because it's so, you have to be really hydrated, but after this class, you feel so detoxified that it's amazing, you know. And unfortunately, the teacher lost his way, you know, didn't follow the 8 limbs. He simply got into his down, but everybody has a second chance. Hopefully, you know, he will get up. What do you know, Janet, about Bikram?
There is a whole Netflix, like this tiger thing, but it's all about Bikram. And yeah, so it's a 26 posture, is what it is each and every time, and it goes through, and it became really, really popular because, yeah, the people, it was something new. This heat thing was kind of new. For me, I can't remember the temperature because it was in Celsius when I was teaching it and doing it. But it's there's a lot of humidity involved, and it's quite intense. Like if you're sensitive to heat, it's not, I don't know, it's quite intense. But yeah, so it's a 26 posture. You start off with breathing. You hold the postures for, I think it's not 5 breaths, but it was maybe, I don't know, whatever it was. I can't remember. Also have the whole series. So if you want to try Bikram, we can. Although you're not legally allowed to call it Bikram, because he's patented it, he's coined it, he's whatever. So we can't actually call it unless we've gone through his, I think it's actually unless he's teaching it. I could be wrong. Like I don't know the details of the legal side of it. But in South Africa, we weren't covered under that. So we still called it Bikram. So I did a hot class because I do enjoy some hot yoga, and there's hot vinyasa. So it's like, oh, I'm going to go to a hot class. For me, it didn't feel good in my body, the one posture to the next. And there were different variations. I didn't really enjoy it just for that reason. But being detoxified 100%, like super, you know, in any hot class, I think, because you're just sweating so much. I remember I did a hot class and I had my lashes on from a show I did, and they were like falling on my face and it was stinging, you know, that like lash glue that gets in your eyes. And I was literally like, I can't see anything, but I'm hoping I'm doing this right, because it was so hot. It was just all that lash glue was awful. Anyways, no, so the story goes, and I don't know, the story goes is that he got a little crazy. Everything like blew up, right? This was such an amazing thing that he brought to California. Yeah, and there was like some shady stuff that was going on. He had him and students and the whole bits, and it just became, you know, driving big fancy cars. And I think there was just that like, that pull of like, this isn't what yoga is about, and he's calling it yoga, and that's just different. But like I said, the details are all in Netflix. I haven't really watched it because I'm not really a TV person anyways, but yeah, so that's what I know about that.
So
but he's an amazing man, and it is amazing practice, and he did do very well. Some people love it's like running. Some people love it, some people hate it, right? Like that's just what it all is at the end of the day.
So how about now, let's talk about that strap. Which postures are really good that we would recommend to work with a strap? Danny, you go. Which posture do you like to use? Oh, you don't have a strap.
I mean, I was just like shifting gears, my brain. Like, all right, second, let's go.
Oh.
I think Ilona was done with Bikram. I know, we're gonna hit Bikram with the strap. No, I'm just kidding. Totally teasing. Oops.
So, so I've only done the strap a couple times. One was dancer, and I like it because you can kind of walk your hands up. I thought that was pretty cool, and I also used it in a yin class in a IT band stretch. So like your foot came across this way with the strap, and that was pretty helpful. I could feel the whole side of my leg just not liking me actually for a second. But it was good.
Ilona, what about you? Your question, your strap, what you got?
So today I would give it a shout for strap in Chaturanga. That is one of really, really good one. When do I have my strap?
That was really awesome.
Yes, it's Chaturanga is so hard, and literally 90% in a class, they're doing it wrong. And many times it's so easy to do it wrong that we as teachers, when we get sloppy or tired, instead of just skipping it, we are pushing and we are doing it wrong. So that was on my teacher training. My Chaturangas were really off. So my teachers, they taught me to do that. You put your strap in the width of your shoulders, right? So from here, when you go, it's supposed to be a little more. So from here, when you are practicing your chaturangas, your elbows, they can't escape, and you are really working what should be worked on. So
and then
for
when you
today,
come down, where that strap hits, right below your, like right between mid rib cage, right at the.
Yes, and it also won't let you go, and especially when you're in training, it won't let you go more than 90 degrees. Is it 90 degrees?
Yeah, shoulder below. Yeah, so
yes.
Your shoulder and elbow stay. Yep, that's a great one. I love that one. But then again, it does depend on the class, because you have to stop the class for everyone to get into their strap, and then you have to stop the class to get out of the strap and keep going.
So we did that actually in the beginners, in the level 1. We did have this moment when Danny and I, we worked in the same studios. So we would stop the class, we would do the Chaturanga demo. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you are level, for your teacher, you're doing your own thing, you can keep, they usually would keep a high plank, or something, but other students, and I think it's so important in a big studio classes to do that. Stop it and show them and talk to them and demonstrate. It's not just let's do Zumba, everybody moves as they want. No.
Yeah, I agree. There's been a few classes where I've like, okay, we're all gonna stop for a minute. Just notice some people, and you're like, it's more likely that more people need that extra little bit. I also use the block especially if I don't have, I know not everyone has straps, but the block is a really great way to not go below that 90 point as well. So you put your hand behind your block, and then when you come down, your shoulder taps in. It's a really great way to get that distance. So yeah.
My goodness, when I finally learned how to do a chaturanga right, I felt like an idiot, because for like a year I was doing it so wrong, because I saw this girl who I thought was really good at yoga, and she was swooping So she was coming all the way down. And so I was doing it that way. And then I went to, and why I felt like an idiot was because in class prior to learning actually how to do it, I was like, I got this. I felt great about my chaturangas.
Yeah.
No.
You know, there's 3 ways to do it. I say, well, there's more than 3, but there's 3 main ways to do a chaturanga. And one of them is chin and chest with your bum in the air.
Oh.
And then you come through, but it's not one that you would practice in a vinyasa flow consistently. It's more of a transition, and especially if you're building practice.
And also, I think you have to first know the classical one, so you have the muscles, you have the alignment, and from here you can go there. It's like level up, next step. So it's like, you cannot just go from point A to C without B, because somewhere something will collapse, right?
So I actually teach it the other way. I will teach this as the very basic first, and then I will teach from the knees. Whereas your elbows wrap in, right? And then we have our chin chest here. I don't know, am I still on the screen? Okay. Yeah. So chin and chest, elbows wrapped in, and then from here, push forward. Oh my God, that feels amazing. Hang on, I'm gonna hang out here for a minute. Up dog. So that would be my breakdown, because what happens otherwise is even from the knees, if you're not strong enough, for 1, your elbows can splay easily. But for 2, if you're coming down, a lot of times this starts to kind of happen, and then people don't really, you know what I mean, lower back drops. So for me, I always start with that chin, chest, butt up, and then come through, which is probably maybe what people have seen, and then just kind of put it together. Okay. I don't know.
So but go down. And I'm glad that you made about the low back. For a while also, I was getting lazy in my core with my chaturangas, and I was practicing yoga a lot in the hot rooms a lot. And I was like, my core was getting lazy, so my lower back would dump sort of. And for the week, I was like, my freaking back, and it was because I wasn't keeping my core in. And that was a big, huge lesson for me too, was, keep it tight.
Yeah. Yeah, so important. Just the pelvic tilt, right? It doesn't need a 6-pack. Even if you don't have a strong core, you can still tilt your pelvis to connect that low rib. Yeah, so important. All right, my turn for strap. So this strap that I have is a little bit shorter than the one that I love. So there are different links and different brands and all of that sort of thing. So I can't do my absolute favorite. But when we have the straps in, we're all doing our others. I'm going to show you the other one. I use my strap for many, 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 many things. In fact, as much as I can. It's helping me with my press, which is super fun to get into. Also, Archer, can't reach it. So my hands don't come anywhere close. Why am I doing so much yoga today? My hands don't come anywhere close. But the strap and you can grab it quick in a class, right? Sometimes they come close. Today, not so much.
And there's also days when you can do it, and there's days you really have to work with a strap.
Yes. So that's a really awesome one that I love. I wish I could have more time. I would get my longer one. There's a shoulder posture that really pulls your shoulders back and down. And I do everything. It's my absolute favorite with the strap. You can, if you think about the way the body works, and our posture, as much as we want to, but actively engaging your traps and pulling them down, it's not actually realigning your posture as much. You're just working your traps, actually. So by using the strap and it doing it for you, it starts to remind you of that shoulder roll and posture. But it's a really cool one. But it takes a bit to get into. We'll play with it. I wonder if this one will work. Let's see. Behind the back. No, it's too small. Up and over the shoulders. Yep. Crisscross the back. I'm not going to sit on the block, and we're just going to not deal with having tiny little shorts on today, okay? So, hold on. It's easier to do. That's it. We're doing it. Where's the big one? We're doing it, guys. Oh man.
Waiting for my strap to come. I got a yoga wheel, 2 blocks, and a strap coming. I am
Oh my God, I
excited.
totally got a yoga wheel too, and my strap is actually not here.
And
So
he'll-
you cross it around the back and then pull.
And we
Ilona.
should get like a nice sequence with the block, with the straps and all the props.
No, that would be fun.
Okay, so take it down below your ribs. Okay, yeah, put it there and then up and over. Yep, and now crisscross. So take the right side to your left hand here, behind your back. So.
It is crisscross, okay. Perfect. It's like a perfect one whenever you want to practice and watching TV, right? So keep your
This
posture.
one to this one. And then it connects in front. Yeah?
Like that?
Yes. And now you can tie it.
You know what? It is exactly as the little spider. You know, the years ago it was this thing called, maybe it wasn't in States, in Europe it was called spider. It was this thing that you would put on, right? It's the same that I didn't know. That I love it.
A lot. Yeah, I've seen little things like that do that. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen that coming through on like social media advertising a lot. But oh, it feels so amazing. And then to like eat like that, your body's open, your esophagus is open instead of like, right? Yep. How's that feel?
Amazing. I love it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get my longer one. So yeah, that's my favorite. That is my hands down. I put so many people in that and they're like, and hang out in there for 5
Perfect
minutes.
posture, automatically.
Yes.
Perfect posture.
Yeah, and then, you know, like your body gets that muscle memory, right? So you hang out in it like 5 minutes a day, really starts to lift and roll your shoulders back. And did you know that there's a 64% increase in heart disease based on your posture?
Yeah.
So you have a 64, then rolling your shoulders, 64% increase in getting heart disease based on the way your shoulders sit on your body. Isn't that not like the most madness? Like, so go eat your Snickers, right? Enjoy it. Just do it with your shoulders back. Like,
Exactly. Be a couch potato, but do it in a good
right?
quality way.
Right? It's crazy. I mean, these little things, but it makes sense, right? Because we're rolling in or constricting all of that. That's my hands down favorite way.
Nice. I can't wait to get one.
Yeah. I'm so excited for you. It'll be fun class.
My props.
Devi, have you ever used a strap?
No, actually, I have a lot of flexibility, so it's easy to me to do this kind of thing.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. When
So,
you're doing like your deeper flexibility, like reaching your fingers or like other areas that you're flexible in, are you consciously engaging certain muscles or are you comfortable just being here?
I just, well, I start to feel that muscles, and it's not, it's like loads movement. So I try to do all these things like conscious of what I'm doing and with the breathe. So it's easier, and I like it. So
You do or
I
don't?
can, yeah, I enjoy it a lot. So I have a lot of flexibility. My hips are really like, I have a good, I don't know how to say it. It's like open.
Uh-huh.
So I can do a lot of this kind of movement. So
Okay. So there's one thing that I feel like that is not controversial, but one thing that can like deter a lot of people, right, is that flexibility. And you see so many people using their flexibility rather than engaging muscles for stability. And I feel like, especially if you go on social media and just type in yoga, like some of the stuff that we see is so much just open body flexibility, right? And that's genetics or past or history or whatever the case may be. But not always is that flexibility like joints wear out. You know what I mean? Like that's not.
But also many times this flexibility is so misaligned that it's just horrifying, you know. If you don't know, if it's just a picture, you don't know. But when you know what is wrong, what that person is like, how misaligned are the hips or spine, you know, it's really dangerous. And that kind of flexibility goes when you're young, in your 20s, you know, maybe here and there, but it will not get you, you know.
I feel like a lot of arthritis comes from overuse of joints and dropping into that flexibility, and over time that
a lot of injuries.
Yeah. So I was just curious as to like the classes that you go to and the cues that you know and that sort of thing, like how you. Because I'm not, like, I have moments of flexibility, and I know when I'm leaning into my flexibility, like I'll go there and then I'm like, okay, can I still engage the muscles that I want to be? I have a really open spine and I can get really deep in a back bend. Do I know if I'm doing it right? Feels fine now, right? But like, and then I work to think like, okay, what do I need to engage? So I'm curious, like having really amazing flexibility, like how that is different from, you know, a lot of people that don't have. I don't really know what kind of question I'm asking. I'm just throwing it out there.
For me, it's I just something that is really important when I notice that the strength of the core is the most important thing. So I just want trying to do a lot of postures, but when you don't engage your core, it's horrible. It looks like what the fuck?
Yeah, definitely drop into that lower spine and hips for sure. If you're not strong in the core, or not strong in the core, but if you're not engaging the core.
That absolutely.
Yeah. What does that even mean though? Engage your core. Like, how would you describe that to somebody? Anybody? Danny.
Oh my God. I don't even, the first thing that came to mind was fart.
Oh, okay. I'll take this one.
I want your class.
Well, for me, engage your core automatically means release the whole tension from your spine, from your lower back. Just put it back, put it up, not on just on your joints, you know, on your bones, but with your muscles.
If you're teaching a class, right? So we yogis say the craziest things, right? We'd say some randomly like, what does that even mean? And then you do it. You're like, if you're teaching a class, aside from the word engage your core, how would you, like what cues would you use to help people know what you want them to do in that space? Other than fart.
Which also happens.
It totally happens, which is why I love Zoom, because you don't know that it happens.
So even, you know, lengthen your spine, get tall, stand proud. That automatically engage core, to stand proud, to get that posture, you know, open up your chest.
So
open
if
your
someone's
heart.
Standing tall, right? And they're getting taller, do you think, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, also send your pubic bone forward. There you go. So pubic bone towards your mat, your tailbone towards your mat, pubic bone forward. It's automatically, you know, you have to engage that mass, that core, and opening the chest, right? putting your ribs in.
Yeah.
It's just automatically everything, you know. That's why we use so many, not only anatomic, there you go. How, English, anatomical. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Language. Anatomical. Thank you.
Yes. That's
not only anatomical, because some students, that's their language. And when you say, you know, when you use muscles, when you use just science, it clicks. But there are students that doesn't click. There are students who you will understand their body when you say, open up your heart. And they do that. And it doesn't matter what you say. What matters is that they have information and the body understands it and just go into alignment. So that's why I think the good teacher always use a lot of languages. Not only, you know, it has to be this, because especially if you have a class, you have so many people that speaks different language.
Yeah, I definitely think cues are really important and very precise, right? Like, no doubt, this is what. And I feel like when people aren't really paying attention and they're kind of like in their own zone, and they're gonna not always hear your cues. Some of the most amazing teachers I've ever practiced with, like, their cues are on point. Like, take your back thighs to your buttocks in down dog. Back thighs to buttocks. Oh shit, there it goes. You know what I mean? Like, you can.
Those are the best classes. Yes.
And then he says it 3 times, right? He'll just repeat it 3 times. In case you missed it the first time, here's what we got. And they're so precise and so on point. And I think that that's like an amazing like quality to know bodies so well. To just like nail a cue. Very simple, very fun. But I don't know. Danny, how do you, other than farting, what are your cues? I love, we let teachers say the random things, right? And then that's like random. Like, I love it.
Inhale here, exhale, fart. I would say draw your belly button in.
Yeah.
Draw your belly button up and into your spine. I mean, I would like to say knit your low ribs in. I don't know that I've used that yet, but that's something that kind of helps me just like think about that part of my body. Yeah.
I like the squeeze everything to midline. When I first time heard that was like, oh man, squeeze everything into midline. That automatically squeezes and you're getting tall.
Yeah, I also like that. I had pubic plate to low ribs also, that like, because it'll pull tuck your tailbone. I love knitting lower ribs together, like, because I can imagine like tying a string and just whoop, it really pulls it in. And then also, yeah, navel in and up. Yeah, I think those are, because sometimes like people just don't know, you know, like especially if they're coming to yoga, they don't really know what it means to engage your core. Like, especially if you don't even have a core, like you don't no idea what that even means. Like, what does that entail? How do you engage your core?
Yes.
So cues are freaking powerful. I love cues.
My God, coming to yoga, I realized how weak my core was. And even in bodybuilding, I never really trained abs because I was like, I don't want a thick waist. I don't really, so I never really trained abs. I mean, like I would squeeze them, but like when I started doing yoga and triangle, I was like, I literally cannot hold this up for 1 round of breath. I would like go into my flexibility.
I was dying in triangle.
Oh my God. And I'm like, what is this yogi stuff? And I'm like, I was like pissed. I was like, I hate this. And it's side angle. I'm like, I'm actually mad at you.
Yes. It's so.
Oh, I love that you're saying that.
I got that so often. People are like, look how strong. Like, no, man. Like, you know, like it really matters in bodybuilding how it's shaped. And don't do a lot of crunch. Like, you don't do a lot of abs in bodybuilding, because what happens when you build a muscle? It gets bigger. What do we not want? A big waist, right? So, yeah, like that's really awesome bringing that up, because I also got that quite often. I was in yoga first. So I had to like stop training my obliques and stop doing triangles, so didn't really work. But yeah, it's crazy. There's so much more to core than a 6-pack abs. we forget that there's 2 layers, right? There's that, the one that holds us together, and then there's the one that looks cool. Like
Rectus abdominis
yeah.
down the front. Transverse is the one that wraps all the way around.
Yes,
I would always say, I would always say that core will just help you go through life with dignity and strength, and it's all about core. Really, your spine, your back, everything is there. The whole day, for you to have your posture, you have to have your core.
Yep.
Even to sit in front of the computer in a posture, not like this, it's a core. It's a delicate core, but still core. If you let it go, then everything collapses.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at the time. This is going to be the hardest part of this whole thing, is stopping.
No rules.
No rules whatsoever. Like, I'm in. Was midnight slumber party?
with straps and yoga blocks.
Yes.
Yin party. I'm in.
Pose.
I love it. Awesome. Does anybody have anything else to add before we, I don't want to switch gears unless we want to, but
well, it was great. It was great to talk, yogis.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Should we own to close it out then? There's nothing left to say.
Yes, we should.
Okay. I thought about doing it in the beginning, but I thought something, I don't know, pranayama seemed quite fun. All right. Shall we? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. May the light, the love, and the strength carry through his love and healings to all beings. Namaste.
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 Thank you, friends.
Yes.
Should we just not teach yoga classes and just do this all the time instead?
Yes.